So guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the reasons or the benefits as to why farmers are advised to properly space their maize depending on the varieties, the types. And talking about the types, I mean the yellow maize, which is commonly grown in the soils of Europe and other parts of the world. And also we have got the white maize, which is commonly grown in Africa as our own staple food. So you make sure you give a like to the video, and you make sure you subscribe if you haven't. And if you have subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. And therefore, make sure you turn on your notification bell such that you are the first person to be notified the moment I drop a farm video. So let's continue with the video, and therefore let's see the reason number one as to why it's really important for you to properly space your maize. So one of the reasons is sunlight capture. Well spaced maize allows each and every maize plant to access the sunlight, or to have the access to the sunlight, and that sunlight is the one which is always used for the maize to make its own food, or the plants to make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. And that's the reason as to why you're seeing all our plants, all the maize plants here, they are in the same height, the same color, and all the changes taking place, they are almost the same. That's why you're seeing even they're all flowering at the same time, and that's because each of them is able to make its own food, and none of them is struggling. And if they were struggling, you could see others growing taller, and then others could have, for example, the yellowish leaves just because they are struggling, and others could be taller because they are struggling to reach or to access the sunlight. And that's why it's advisable for you to properly to space your maize such that your maize don't struggle to reach the sun. And the other reason as to why you must do proper spacing is efficient nutrient use. As you all know, maize is one of the plants which demand a lot of nutrients, and therefore it's advisable for you to properly space your maize. For example, let me say the rows, and also from plant to plant, it's very advisable for you to surely do the proper spacing, because all of them will have almost the same share of the nutrient, and therefore you'll see uniform growth and also faster growth. And that's the reason why people are advised to always to properly space their maize such that your maize are not struggling for the nutrients. Because if your maize are struggling for the nutrients, of course the growth is going to be retarded. Even the colors are going to be yellowish because they are not having enough nutrients to grow. And then our reason number three is better water availability. One thing you need to know is, for example, if you don't have enough rain or you don't have enough water during the time when you are growing the maize, therefore you are going to be having the problem. We well know that for you to be a successful maize farmer, you must grow your maize in the season when there's enough rain, or when in the season, like for example, there is rain but of course it's inadequate. You have to provide the water for the maize to grow. But now when you have spaced them poorly, for example, let me say they are too close and the water is not enough for all of them, of course they are going to be struggling to access the water and to get the water, and therefore your plants are going to be exposed to the water stress during the time of the drought, maybe when the water is not enough. So the plants are going to be exposed to that the water stress. And the other Reason number 3 why people are always advised to properly space their maize is reduced pests and diseases. And this comes because your plants are closely spaced, and also therefore being closely spaced means pests and also diseases are going to be able to hide in those places, or even you yourself, you're not going to be able to move in the maize to do what we call at least monitoring, because it's too close. Our reason number 5 is strong plant structure. And talking about the plant structure, I mean looking at the stalks of each of the plants. Are they big enough, or they are very strong? They are very strong. And if they are big, which means they have been well spaced and they have been having enough water, they have been having enough nutrients, and therefore they have grown bigger. And growing bigger means they are stronger. And if you have the smaller ones, which means it's going to be easier for those small stalks to either break. The plants are going to be easily broken by either the wind or any other thing. It will be easy to break, and therefore that's the reason why you must space your plants properly, such that they have enough water, they have enough nutrients, they have enough sunshine, such that they grow stronger, and therefore they are not easily broken. And the reason why they can easily break is because they were running so fast for the sunlight. They wanted to access the sunlight, and therefore the stalks remained so small, or they grew with a small stalk. So that is another reason as to why you must properly space your maize. And the other reason as to why you must properly space your maize is it makes it easier for you to do the weeding and other field practices. For example, if this plant here is not well, let me say, is not well spaced, I can't do anything here. Now, like here, it is well spaced, which means I can easily do my activities. For example, the spraying. If I want to spray the plants against pests or diseases, I'm easily going to move through, or using the machines for moving or for weeding the plants. Or for example, here we have done the interrow, or actually we have planted some grass under the plants. So because of proper spacing, it made it easier for us. So that's one of the reasons as to why you must properly space your maize, because it's going to allow you to do other activities, as I said, weeding, spraying, and all those, even harvesting, be it manually or using the machines. So that's the reason why we must do proper spacing. The other reason is it maximizes the yield potential. Let's take, for example, widely spaced maize leads to underutilization of the land, and narrow spacing also leads to small cobs. These are what we call the cobs. What you're seeing here, these are the cobs. When you have spaced them closely, let's take for example you have got the white maize, you've spaced them very close and they're not having enough nutrients, not enough sunshine, it of course leads to smaller cobs. And properly spaced maize balances the plant population in the field, and in the process of balancing the plant population in the field, therefore you are able to reap big, or you are able to make some bigger money out of your field. Let's say for example you have 1 acre, you are going to get bigger or much amount of money than the person who has actually used a bigger portion, has not balanced the spacing, and everything is not well, which means this person is actually going to be underutilizing, and his plants will not be, or the plant population will not be balanced in the field. That's the reason why you have to do proper spacing.